So let me start with this question. What drew you into the field of education? So you obviously could have done many things following your storied career in the NBA. You could have invested your time outside of philanthropic sector, or even if you had done so philanthropically, there are many things you could have done. Why education?
Well, basically because my mom and dad made me. I wish there were a better answer than that. My mother has always been a proponent of education. When I was a kid, it was never even an option that I wasn't going to college. And I think with my mother grew up in the South, in Columbia, South Carolina. My dad grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas in the 50s. And so, actually my father had the opportunity to be one of the Little Rock Nine to go to Central. He was going to Horace Mann at the time. And they asked him, would you go do this? And he said, no. He said, no, I'm going back to my high school. So he went back to his high school. And then you guys know that story. In 1957, only one of those guys ended up graduating from that high school. One of the girls that went there ended up getting acid thrown on her. The governor, the next year in 1958, decided that he was going to cancel all schools so he could push the legislation to make sure that the schools wouldn't be integrated. And so I grew up around my mom and dad who dealt with that stuff. And so I felt a very strong responsibility to push things further. I know my grandfather kind of really committed his whole life, taught my dad and all his siblings how to play piano music. They were all incredible musicians, really talented people. And each generation, it was our responsibility to push things forward and be better and have more opportunities. And so here we are a couple generations later, and virtually I had no limitations to what I could do. And unfortunately, that's not the case for everybody, but that's been where my passion is, to open the doors and open the opportunities. We have so much in these kids, so much potential that we're not tapping into. And we see this as a nation. Educationally, we're falling behind other nations. We're not tapping into our potential. And so my passion has been to motivate kids and families and give them opportunities and give them routes to success. And not just financial success, but obviously just fulfilling their talents and their abilities.